Good day, dear colleagues. My name is Dr. Novasil Kirimna, and today we are going to speak about teaching complex sentences in English language. So, teaching complex sentences in English is one of the key directions in developing students' writing and speaking skills. Complex sentences consist of a main clause and one or more subordinate clauses, which are connected by subordinating conjunctions such as because, also, since, when, if, etc. Students often find it challenging to master these structures, so they require methodological support from the teacher. In such cases, the scaffolding strategy proves to be highly effective. Scaffolding refers to the temporary support provided by the teacher to help students gradually acquire a new language structure and then use it independently as the support is slowly reduced. Stages of teaching complex sentences with scaffolding. First stage is modeling stage. At the initial stage, the teacher demonstrates the structure of complex sentences using clear examples. By comparing simple, compound, and complex sentences, students can visually recognize the differences. I like tea, for example. Simple sentence. I like tea and I like coffee. Compound sentence. I like tea because it helps me relax. Complex sentence. Through this modeling stage, students understand how complex sentences are formed and how meaning is extended through subordinating conjunctions. Let's speak about guided practice. In this stage, students complete structured exercises under teacher guidance. For instance, they can fill in missing parts of sentences. I stayed at home because, and they fill the missing part. She was late, although, and missing part. Pair work is also effective where students combine two separate ideas into one complex sentence using a suitable conjunction. This stage allows students to apply the structure with teacher assistance while gaining confidence. The third, independent practice. Once students are comfortable with the structure, they move on to independent tasks. They may be asked to write short paragraphs or compositions containing complex sentences. For example, on the topic My Day, students can write at least 5 complex sentences. These tasks help reinforce their ability to use complex sentences naturally and independently in various contexts. Fourth, feedback and reflection. At the final stage, the teacher provides constructive feedback, corrects errors, and clarifies difficult points. Reflection activities help students analyze their progress and identify areas for improvement. This step enhances the overall quality of learning and promotes deeper language awareness. Next slide. Effective scaffolding techniques. Speaking about effective scaffolding techniques, several scaffolding strategies can make the process of learning complex sentences more engaging and successful. Visual organizers such as Venn diagrams or sentence frames, chunking or dividing tasks into smaller, manageable parts. Think aloud modeling, where the teacher verbalizes their thoughts process. Peer scaffolding, involving pair and group work to encourage mutual support. These techniques develop students' critical thinking and enable them to consciously master complex grammatical structures step by step. Effective scaffolding. Effective scaffolding techniques can be characterized as following: determine what students already know, set a goal for learning, plan instructional support or how skills can be broken down, implement lessons and monitor progress. Create support over time for students to become independently successful. Continue building on content, monitoring and providing feedback. Next slide. Developing writing skills is one of the most complex and essential aspects of teaching English. In language learning, writing is not merely a means of demonstrating grammatical and lexical knowledge. It is also the ability to organize structure and clearly communicate ideas. According to Harmer, writing is the process of organizing thoughts, structuring linguistic units, and conveying them clearly to the reader. Similarly, Sales-Mersher emphasizes that the development of writing skills is a crucial factor determining a student's future academic success. Therefore, writing instructions should hold a central place in English language teaching at schools. Effective approach to developing writing skills in modern technology, a variety of techniques are used to enhance students' writing proficiency. Among them, the scaffolding approach is particularly effective. In this method, the teacher provides step-by-step support during the writing process, offering models, guiding frameworks, and sample sentence structures. Gradually, this support is reduced as learners gain independence and confidence. Before writing, students are encouraged to organize their thoughts using mind mapping and graphic organizers. These visual tools help learners structure their ideas logically and present them in coherent way. Another powerful technique is the process writing approach, which develops writing through sequential stages. Brainstorming ideas, planning and outlining, drafting, revising, and editing, producing the final version. This method helps students view writing not as mechanical exercise but as a creative and systematic process of expression and improvement. So let's speak about descriptive writing and essay. Descriptive writing and essay. These composed descriptive texts and essays play a vital role in developing writing competence. Descriptive writing expands students' vocabulary and strengthens their ability to use adjectives, comparisons, and detailed expressions. The teacher should first present a model text, analyze its structure together with the class, and only then guide students to produce their own descriptions. Essay writing, on the other hand, it's one of the most challenging yet significant tasks in the English lessons. It fosters students' language competence, critical thinking, and academic writing culture. In essay writing, learners must not only express their opinion but also support them with logical arguments and evidence while maintaining grammatical accuracy and clarity. Such tasks enrich students' vocabulary and develop their academic literacy. Structure of an English essay. A well-written essay traditionally consists of three main parts. Introduction introduces the topic and presents a thesis statement. The teacher's role is to train students to write conscious and clear introductions. Second, body paragraphs. Each paragraph should develop a single main idea supported by examples, arguments, or evidence. Conclusion restates the main idea and summarizes the discussion in a clear, thoughtful way. To ensure cohesion, each paragraph must logically connect to the next. Teachers should explicitly teach the use of cohesive devices and linking words, for example, in addition, however, therefore, as a result. Consistent practice with these expressions helps students produce coherent and unveiled texts. Language accuracy and academic style. Speaking about academic style, another essential aspect of essay writing is maintaining language accuracy and formal style. Teachers should remind students to avoid repetition, informal words, and constructions. Emphasis should be placed on academic tone, grammatical precision, and lexical variety. all of which are hallmarks of a high-quality essay. Next slide. Key guidelines for teaching essay writing. Teachers should focus on the following principles when developing students' essay writing skills. First, train students to stay focused on the given topic. The second, encourage pre-writing planning and outlining. Third, ensure each paragraph expresses one central idea. Fourth, use cohesive devices to maintain logical flow. Fifth, follow the standard essay structure, introduction, body, and conclusion. 6. Check for grammatical and spelling accuracy. 7. Promote lexical richness and a variety of expression. 8. Teach students to revise and aid their draft before final submission. The educational value of essay writing. Essay writing also carries strong educational and formative value. It encourages students to think critically, structure arguments, and justify their opinions logically. Moreover, it strengthens their ability to communicate effectively in written English, laying the foundation for academic writing competence required in higher education and the professional contexts. In conclusion, developing writing skills, particularly through scaffolding, process writing, and essay composition, equips students with not only linguistic proficiency, but also the intellectual discipline to express ideas thoughtfully and coherently. Writing thus becomes not just a language skill, but a tool for academic growth, personal reflection, and a creative expression. The steps for writing the descriptive essay are: the first, select a topic; the second, create a thesis; the third, list the senses; the fourth, create an outline; the fifth, write the conclusion; sixth, review; the seventh, final touch-up. Next slide. Let's speak about the primary goal of language teaching. So the primary goal of language teaching is to prepare students for real-life communication, and one of the most essential aspects of such interaction is politeness in speech. According to Brown and Levinson, politeness is a universal mechanism that ensures the smooth and harmonious flow of linguistic interaction. Similarly, Lee states that polite language regulates social relations between people and is directly linked to the pragmatic dimension of communication. In this communicative competence theory, the scientist Himes emphasizes that knowing a language means not only understanding its grammar, but also using it appropriately in social contexts. So the scientist Swan adds that failure to observe politeness norms can create greater communication barriers than grammatical mistakes. The scientist likewise and Watts defines politeness as a form of negotiation aimed at maintaining balance between the speaker and the listener. Together, these views highlight the crucial role of teaching polite communication in English language education. Let's look at the forms of polite communication in English. Politeness in English operates on multiple levels: lexical, grammatical, pragmatic, and intonational. Lexical expressions: please, thank you, excuse me. Grammatical structures: would you mind, could I possibly. Indirect speech forms: I was wondering if you could. Intonation and tone, used to soften meaning and convey respect. Mastering these forms not only develops students' linguistic competence, but also fosters intercultural and pragmatic awareness, essential for effective communication in global context. The importance of teaching politeness. Developing polite communication skills enables students to express themselves appropriately and respectfully in international settings, whether in tourism, business, education, or cultural exchange. When teachers train learners through situational models, students internalize not just words and phrases, but also the cultural and social norms that govern real communication. Next slide. Methodological approaches and practical techniques. So, speaking about methodological and approaches, the grammar and structure may be in the first place, and the second place is politeness and intercultural communication, and the third is writing skills. Modern teaching methodology offers a variety of effective tools for developing politeness in English. Scientist Scrivener identifies role play as one of the most powerful methods for practicing polite interaction in context. So, what is role play? Students act out real life situations, checking into a hotel, asking for help at the airport, visiting a doctor. The use of polite forms is a key requirement throughout the activity. Dialogue completion. The teacher provides the beginning of a dialogue, and students complete it using polite expressions. Third, direct to polite. Transformation. Students transform direct to commanding sentences into polite requests. For example, direct, give me the book. Polite, could you give me the book, please? Awareness raising tasks. Students compare several versions of the same sentence and discuss which one sounds more polite and why. Drama based learning. Students perform short theoretical scenes that illustrate politeness strategies in authentic communicative situations. Use of authentic materials. Analyzing dialogues from films or TV series help learners recognize natural politeness patterns in real life speech. For instance, experts from Friends or The Crown can be used to observe contextual differences in tone and phrasing. Scaffolding. What is scaffolding? The teacher first models polite expressions, then provides a guided practice, and finally encourages independent speaking tasks. This gradual reduction of support helps students internalize polite communication naturally. Communicative approach. Every classroom task should serve a real communicative purpose, bringing students as close as possible to authentic social interaction. Task-based learning. Students complete communicative tasks such as asking for information politely or making a polite request for help. These activities train learners to use appropriate language resources autonomously and contextually. Teaching polite communication in English is not limited to linguistic accuracy. It develops social intelligence, cultural sensitivity, and communicative competence. By combining scaffolding, role play, authentic materials, and task based learning, teachers can help students not only speak English correctly, but also interact gracefully and effectively in any social context. Thank you for attention.